My first day of high school wasn't starting ideally. My socks refused to slide over my soiled covered toes as I sat on the edge of a bench while two three-legged crows beside me picked at their breakfast of raw meat. My struggles only persisted with a saber-toothed wolf nudging my foot. "We'll run later, Sapphire." I patted her on the head and she grumbled, trotting away to nudge Topaz, her mate. I was about to put on shoes when Harriet scooped me up in her big, hairy arms. Tempting as it was to let Bigfoot take me to school, I didn't think Mel would approve. "Harriet, no!" Melpomene's timing was impeccable. Harriet only held me tighter at her admonishment, but Mel's glare turned to me. "Harriet, down." Harriet released me, and I continued my battle against footwear. Mel shooed the crows away and sat, folding her arms like our mother when one of us was on the verge of trouble. "Remember what we talked about? Don't talk to anyone. Don't attract attention. Act natural." I hadn't meant the words to come out as mocking as they had. "Lie," Mel groaned, pointing at my hair. "What if Ariadne bit someone?" I found the hitchhiker burrowed in my curls. "Her bite isn't what causes never-ending nightmares, and you know that." I let the tarantula step onto my hands and crawl onto the wall. "She's a dream weaver tarantula, not a dream biter." My sister huffed before storming away. Mel left me at my locker. I immediately regretted not letting her show me around. I kept looking from my English textbook to my school schedule, my hands sweating so much I thought the paper might disintegrate. "A damsel in distress, I see." I jumped, falling into the lockers so hard they echoed. "And jumpy, too." My eyes met with one of the prettiest boys I'd ever seen. He had that type of superhero chiseled jaw and sparkling eyes you only saw in movies. "You don't recognize me, do you?" His smile was bashful but inviting, and somehow my nerves eased the more he looked at me. "Oliver Padfield," I answered, my voice a little dry from disuse. He beamed. "Callie Lambros." My nose scrunched up. "Calliope," I corrected. "I like Callie." He leaned over, letting his arm rest next to my head. I didn't like Callie, but I did like how close he was. "So, Callie, what they say about your family must be true about you, too." My smile faded. "What do you mean?" "How you're all a bunch of witches?" My body tensed as he leaned closer. "Because I think you've put a spell on me." Our eyes met and my body relaxed at his playful expression. Flirting! He was actually flirting with me. "Sorry, was that too cheesy?" I couldn't help but laugh. "You should be careful with your compliments. Rub me the wrong way and I might turn you into a toad." Maybe it wouldn't be so bad in high school. He barked out a real laugh before holding out his hand. "Would you like a tour guide?" I looked around in case Mel was watching. She would definitely disapprove, but something about his smile moved my hand to his. I never told Mel when Oliver and I started dating. We kept it secret. After all, he was the golden boy of the town and I was a witch of the woods. Oliver didn't care. We just wanted to be together. I'd gone to his football games and even made friends with some other girls in his circle. Nothing tipped him off that we were a couple. Not until he invited me over to the Padfield Playhouse, the notorious party house at the edge of the neighborhood. Mel had strictly forbidden me from ever going. Before Oliver, I didn't care about being banned. Now, Oliver wanted to go public. And to be honest, after 6 months of secret dates and janitorial closet makeout sessions, so did I. Kelly Lewis and some other girls invited me to get ready at their house. We spent hours straightening my wild curls and doing our makeup. Kelly fit me into one of her tiny halter dresses she swore was my color. I wasn't particularly fond of the hot pink, but if it drove Oliver crazy, why not? She was right. It did drive him crazy. Too crazy. We barely made it through the front door before Oliver whisked me upstairs. I swooned at the sweet nothings he whispered, but stiffened when he went for the knot of my halter dress. "Oliver, stop!" I tried to be playful, telling him I wanted to enjoy the party, but he just pushed me against the wall. I was no match for his quarterback strength at a petite 5'5". "Shh, baby, this is happening." He picked me up, his arms so tight I couldn't budge as he hauled me to the bed. I felt something tighten around my wrists. Zip ties. "Oliver, what are you doing?" I screamed, but he shushed me with a messy, tongue-filled kiss. He pulled away once I was secured. The red light of a camera flicked on, pointing directly at my sprawled body on the mattress. "I've always wanted to know what it's like to have a Lambros witch." I wouldn't scream. Oliver Padfield would. He'd scream every night if it was the last thing I did. I lay in that stupid bed for hours after the zip ties broke. Not that he noticed. When he was done, he drifted off into a blissful sleep. I wanted him dead. No, I wanted him to suffer and suffer and suffer. I've always wanted to know what it's like to have a Lambros witch. He was about to find out. Something moved on the bedsheet near my hand. Daring only to move my eyes, little pearls glistened in the moonlight. I breathed a sigh of relief. Ariadne, how did you get here? I opened my palm, careful not to disturb Oliver. The tarantula scuttled onto my hand and stared into my eyes, as though waiting. I glanced back at Oliver, still sleeping deeply. Taking the sheet to cover myself, I slid out of bed. He didn't move. I raised Ariadne to my lips and whispered, Oliver Hadfield. The tarantula sprung from my hands and onto the bedpost, spinning an intricate web. I wrapped the sheet around me, creating a new dress. My wild curls had fought their way back from hours of straightening and styling gel. As Ariadne completed the web, the strands of pearl decorating her limbs glowed with a hue that flowed into the web, pulsating onto Oliver's sleeping face. His eyes began to twitch. Then he tossed and turned. Sweat beads formed on his temples, and peaceful rest turned to a fitful sleep. Ariadne moved from her web, the magic complete. She tangled herself into my hair like a decorative pin. A low moan cut through the party music, and I turned to the window. Harriet stood outside. When I turned back, Oliver jumped up from the nightmare. What happened? He shrieked. I released the camera, staring daggers at him the entire time. Callie? His eyes were wide with fear. The window flung open and 2 three-legged crows circled once before snatching the camera and heading back into the night. What's wrong with you? You've had yourself a Lambros witch, I snarled. Pleasant dreams. I let myself fall through the window right into Harriet's waiting arms and let Bigfoot carry me back to the safety of our house in the middle of the woods.